Hello everyone, this is Quiet Tess ASMR. You can call me Tess, and welcome back to my channel. So tonight's video is a bit of a spin-off from the video I uploaded last week, which went over some basic explanations of what a migraine is, and some of the tips and techniques that I have picked up along the way as a sufferer of migraine to help relieve some of the pain. Tonight, to help you experience some tingles, I wanted to talk to you about a part or phase of the migraine that I think kind of gets overlooked when talking about relief for a migraine, and that is the postdrome. And I know that might sound like a funny word, and you're probably asking, well, what is a postdrome? What does that even mean? And we're going to get into that. And while I'm going to be talking to you about what the postdrome is and giving you some relief techniques for it, I'm going to be making some hand sounds and doing some gentle hand movements, just as in the previous video. So let's go ahead and begin. So a migraine actually has 4 stages. 3 if you do not experience auras with your migraine. But typically it's about 4 stages. The first stage is the PreDrome. This essentially is the PreHeadache. This is the triggers kicking in. And what this means, for some people the PreDrome only lasts a few hours before the actual migraine. I apologize for all the sounds, the traffic. It's surprisingly busy for a school night. For the PreDrome is the essentially kind of like the kickoff of the migraine. For some people this only lasts maybe minutes or hours before the actual headache part of the migraine kicks in. For others it can be days before the actual migraine kicks in. So you may start experiencing symptoms such as more mild regular headaches, dizziness, mood swings, things like that. Tenderness in your head, that's not necessarily a headache. And that's the PreDrome. The second stage, which not all migraine sufferers have, is the aura stage. For those who have the optical visual disturbances just before migraine, they're usually kind of like these gray, it starts like these gray blurs, and then they can be really colorful. I think in the previous video I mentioned that my mom and I so lovingly nicknamed the aura the Jimi Hendrix show. And that's the aura. And that can be an indication, it's a good warning system for some who have migraines to say, you have so much time, here soon you're going to be experiencing a migraine. Now, then is the third stage, which is the migraine itself, the debilitating, painful, horrible migraine. And we all know what that is like. It's not like a normal headache. And then you have the fourth stage, which is the postdrome, also known as sort of the migraine hangover. Not everybody who has migraines experiences the postdrome, but most do. I think the statistics from the American Migraine Society or Association, forgive me, I may be misnaming them, but the statistics that they have said that about 80% of migraine sufferers experience the postdrome, this migraine hangover. And in a way, it does very much feel like a hangover. It can be a sensation of fatigue. It's sometimes dehydration. It's dizziness. It's difficulty concentrating. For some, it can even result in still having sensitivity to light or sound, just not as severe as it was in the third stage, the actual headache part of the migraine. But there is still some of that sensitivity in the postdrome. For some, the postdrome only lasts maybe a couple hours after the initial migraine wears off. For some, it can be days. My personal experience, I have that hangover feeling for, on average, about 24 hours. If it's a really bad migraine, it's closer to 48. Just makes it difficult to focus. It's almost like my head's not completely there. It's very difficult to concentrate. Sometimes my words get mixed up, so I have to focus a little harder on what I'm saying or what I'm doing. I tend to be more forgetful. And I find that the postdrome is very uncomfortable in its own way. And I find that it's just as unpleasant as the migraine stage, the headache stage of the migraine itself. Just not as painful. So I want to talk to you all about what I do to help me when I'm going through the postdrome phase of a migraine. And hopefully these tips and little anecdotes will be useful to you. If you're anything like me, I tend to be very dehydrated after a migraine, especially if I do end up being extremely nauseous. So I find hydration, it's one of the simplest things in the world. It seems to be one of the first answers whenever there's a medical issue, but it's true. Hydration is extremely important. So I always make sure that I have some water or maybe even a little bit of Gatorade on hand when I go through the postdrome phase of my migraines. Hydration, hydration, hydration. Getting your fluid intake back up. Giving the water the hydration that your body needs in order to recuperate. To help with some of that inflammation that you may have experienced in your body during the migraine. That's a little loud. The second thing I would recommend when you're going through the postdrome phase of your migraine is to find activities that help you relax. ASMR videos is one of mine. I watch a ton of ASMR videos after a migraine. One, to help with the postdrome, and two, to me it feels like I'm a little more sensitive to the tingles during the postdrome phase. And I feel like it's important to make sure I stay calm and keep my stress levels low after the actual migraine, just to make sure it doesn't come back, because once in a while it does happen. I'll start going through postdrome phase, something will stress me out, blood pressure starts to go up, and then just the cycle repeats. And of course we don't want the cycle to repeat. It's very annoying and very painful. So finding something, an activity that you enjoy, not necessarily doesn't have to be ASMR videos, but I've heard of people using meditation, yoga, within reason, of course. You don't want to do any particularly advanced poses and positions of yoga. You don't want to get too much blood rushing to your head when you're in the postdrome, because you are still technically experiencing a migraine, and you want to kind of get your blood pressure back under control. But just things that you find relaxing. Maybe it's just going for a little walk if you don't have too much photosensitivity, or maybe you're walking in the evening, just something relaxing. One of the things I like to do is listen to very quiet music. A lot of the music I listen to is more rock and roll and metal. So it tends to be on the louder side of things. But when I'm going through the postdrome, I tend to listen to more almost like meditation music, or acoustic, that kind of music. I think that's music types that are a lot more mellow. My third tip for helping to manage your postdrome is food. Your serotonin levels are going to be a little off after the headache stage of the migraine. And one of the things that I was recommended, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference, but it is enough to put things in your favor. And I was recommended to eat some grapes, because grapes, particularly the skin, can help with serotonin levels. Grape juice helps a little bit too, but since a lot of the serotonin is more in the skin of the grapes, it's very marginal. So if you prefer grape juice, that works too. I generally try to drink some grape juice when I start feeling like I'm having my PreHeadache triggers coming on, but I'm not always able to do that. But for the Postdrome, I would recommend food. You don't want anything super spicy or too salty. You want something that's a little bit mellow, a little easy on the stomach, kind of like if you had a stomach flu. You would want to have something that's simple and easy to digest, something a little light, maybe some yogurt, just simple, basic, easy foods. Again, you're wanting to give your body the fuel that you need to help recuperate from your migraine. And then one of the other tips I have, and I recently discovered this, if you have one, or if you can get one, I would highly recommend a weighted blanket. I just recently got one of my own, and I absolutely adore it. It was a little weird at first. It took me some time to kind of get used to the weight of the blanket, but it is in fact very relaxing, and this kind of ties into finding activities that help you stay relaxed. But the weighted blanket that I got, I used it recently with my migraine, particularly with the Postdrome phase, and it was amazing. I found it was extremely helpful. One of the reasons that the weighted blanket works so well with stress levels and to help you relax is because it's applying pressure on your body, not overwhelming pressure, but some pressure on your body. It helps even out your blood pressure. And it, in a way, mimics the sensation of being hugged. And that pressure and that sensation actually helps lower your stress levels and help with, especially if you're new to having a weighted blanket, it helps with some of your hormone levels, such as dopamine, oxytocin, etc. So if you can get a weighted blanket, I would highly recommend it, even not just for Postdrome phase of a migraine, but just in general. It's a really nice thing to have. And then one of my final tips for the migraine hangover is rest. While you want to find an activity that you find relaxing, just rest in general is one of the best things to do. I myself struggle with this because I try to sleep through a migraine. If I can, I try to force myself into a heavy nap when I have a migraine, just so I can tolerate it better. I'm usually able to sleep through it, but if I can't fall asleep beforehand, it's just going to be a miserable few to several hours. And so when I go into the Postdrome phase, I get to that point where I'm like, well, I've already slept, I've napped. Do I really need to sleep? And the answer is yes, because your body is still recuperating. You've had basically a glitch in your brain and in the blood pressure and the electrical and hormonal balances in your brain. That's pretty serious. So a nap, take a nap, get your rest, even if it's just a couple of power naps. Get some rest, relax. Maybe in the busybody that I am, I struggle with that one the most. But rest is good for your body, and it's definitely important for your brain. So if you're having that awful migraine hangover, get a nap. And one of my final tips as well is not so much advice as what to do, but more of what not to do. And that is to try not to do anything strenuous. Try not to do any task that requires a lot of energy and a lot of focus. After all, your brain is technically healing, so you don't want to fry it. Essentially, you don't want to overstress it. And you also don't want to overstimulate it. So, super bright, super loud video games, TV shows, music, anything that's can be overstimulating. You want to try to take a break from it until the postdrome sort of fades away. So everyone, I hope that you don't experience migraines. Or if you have, I hope that you don't experience any more migraines again. However, if you should, and you get stuck with that awful migraine hangover feeling, I hope that this video might help you to sort of relax and help you get through that hangover feeling. And if you don't suffer from migraines, or you don't get the postdrome phase of a migraine, I still hope that you at least enjoyed this video. Maybe you found it a little educational. And most importantly, I hope it helped you to relax, take it easy, and experience the tingles. Thank you again, everyone, so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting my channel. And if you wish to see more content like this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.